Feel free to look at her. You're all
Okay. I was just gonna say, where do I look?
Yeah.
and you're love. Welcome.
All right, welcome back to Judicial Dollars and Cents. We are here at the Super Summit PILMMA event in San Antonio, Texas. Today, our special guest is Mikayla Fedler.
Yes, thanks
Welcome.
so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with a global solution provider, Solvo Global. We provide back office talent from 33 Latin American countries to U.S. and Canadian-based businesses. Legal is one of the largest verticals we support, so that's what brought us here, providing intake specialists, case managers, legal assistants, paralegals, admin assistant, SEO specialists, graphic designers, you name it. If it can be in a remote setting, we can do it from 33 Latin American countries.
That's amazing. And you especially kind of in the PI space, does that feel like the space for that?
That's kind of where we up the most. We do work with other, practices within the legal industry, family law, law, immigration law as well, but PI is really where I would say the majority of our legal clients are. And it really starts at the heart of the intake, because a lot of these firms, like we're seeing, like they're, looking into these marketing firms in case, bringing in cases and all of this and, blowing up really fast, but they don't have an intake process. They don't have intake people. They don't have any of it figured out. And so all these, if you're going to spend money on all of that, you really have to have a strong intake team. And so we're able to provide really strong intake candidates at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And you is there a certain size firm that you look for that we kind of live that same world, right? So it's like there's that certain threshold that they will start looking for those expenses on the outside.
Right. No, that's totally a good point. Because we're saving them 50% annually per hire, a lot of times it's attractive to all sizes of all sizes of firms. We have firms that are probably less than 5 people, and we have firms that are over 500 people. Okay, so we have very big firms, we have medium-sized firms, we have small firms. I would say the majority of them are kind of in that middle range, and then they really grow with us. Some clients who it was just them and their partner when they started, and they created this amazing practice, and they've grown a massive team just with us, and then hired a few locally just to keep things grounded, have people present and in the office, but a majority of their growth has been with us.
Okay, awesome. And you mentioned that you kind of specify in the Latin American area.
Yeah.
What is there a specific reason around that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the story of Solvo is really unique. So the founder and CEO actually owned a company previously together before this. It was a wire mesh company, and they were questioning. They're like, we have so much backup office buildup, and we're not getting work done, and like we can't hire people locally. There's so much turnover. So they considered Latin American talent, and they hired several people in Colombia. And I don't know which one of it was that looked at each other, and they were like, oh my God, like this talent is so freaking amazing, and they're so dedicated. We're seeing such success and a massive cost savings. Being the wonderful business people that they are, they were like, why, we can just do this ourselves. So then they opened up Solvo, and here we are several years later, and we've grown to over 30,000 employees throughout these countries since 2018. So it's, I would say primarily it was because of that, but then the Latin American culture and everything over there, the time zone alignment, you're getting that cultural alignment. A lot of these candidates have been to the US, some of them have lived in the US, been college educated over there. So aside from that, you're also getting a really strong English level, and a lot of these roles can be client facing, which many people, when you think of outsourcing, you don't think of client facing roles. You think of back office, like that are like nobody's seeing them. Where in Latin America, that's totally not the case.
That's awesome. I'm sure your clients are running a huge benefit and having that extra client-facing side, because you don't have to have almost like a middle translator.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, a lot of times I feel like clients will come with us, and then when they realize like how well it's going, they'll start to ask questions like, what other departments can you help us in? I'm like, name one. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And then I kind of lead with more of the client facing roles once I see them already settled in, and once they grow with us, those are the roles I'm talking about, especially like the client success, the customer service, implementation, because those roles really matter, and you need really strong individuals in those roles.
Yeah. Do you see whenever firms are kind of hiring these first personnel people, are they bringing them in? Do they treat them kind of like that contractor space, or is it kind of like a team aspect you're seeing mostly, where they're really involved in like the whole team dynamic of the firm?
Yeah, that's such a good question. What's really unique about us is we're the legal employer of these candidates, so they're not contractors. So they work dedicated to their clients 45 hours a week into their systems, their processes. If a client has 3 paralegals locally and they hire 2 with us, they say, I have a team of 5 paralegals. Like, they work together. Like, they can't work separately, or that's that wouldn't work. You need a team. I mean, people are turning to us to hire these roles because they can't find it locally. They're trying to scale and they can't spend the money that people want locally to do so.
Yep.
And they're looking for that exceptional talent with people that have the same goals and missions and values and same drive as them. Because these people really enjoy what they do. They really want, and they love their work. They really want to do well and they really want to scale with their firm. So by them working for Solvo for our clients, they're locked in. They have a really good job. They get paid really well. They have good benefits. They have good insurance. So they want to stay long term and grow with these firms. So it's definitely all about operating as an extension of their team and how everybody can integrate together. Not that contractor model of they're doing their own thing. Your team in the US is doing their own thing. That's not going to be efficient for growth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think we kind of handle that as well as our does
Yeah.
with our outsourced people. But yeah, you have to have that team aspect.
Yeah, 100%.
So, amazing. And I know we talked a little bit before, but you're based out of Iowa yourself.
Yeah.
Where is like your stateside team? Are they kind of spread out, or do you have a main headquarters for Solvo?
Yeah, good question. So we're headquartered in Houston.
Okay.
And then we have people now all over the US. They like to joke and say they're done hiring in Iowa. Probably. We now have people in Chicago. We have California. We have New York. We have South Dakota, Texas, Minnesota. I mean, we're all over.
Okay.
A lot of people in Florida, spread out through Florida. Because the benefit of Florida too, I mean, is you hop on a plane and you're in Columbia in 3.5 hours direct flight. So like,
Yep.
imagine visiting your team that close and saving what you can annually. So a lot of presence in Florida.
And do you try to get clients in those same, like, do you ever go out to client sites, or are you kind of pretty?
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a really good way to see what's not being talked about. Like I think it was last December. It sounds like so long ago, but it was the last time I went to one of my big clients, and I was just kind of like, I already know what they're using us for. Like I already know what they're doing for, their recruiting. I already know what they're doing for marketing and finance. Like this is just kind of to put a face name. And I was so wrong. Like that was not the point of it. Like I left totally discussing what recruiters could look like with us, what finance, what HR roles, like everything.
Yeah.
And now they're up to literally double the people that they were in December. So like seeing it in person and asking questions that you can see, because sometimes virtually you just don't, you're not just going to interrupt the conversation. Like, okay, so what does your finance department look like? Right.
Right.
So when you can see it, it's like, it makes a huge difference. And I'm so pro remote. I love remote and like have been able to grow my book of business so significantly from it, but nothing like going to these conferences. Like it's all people buy from people and you have to have good relationships. And again, it's a proven concept that going and seeing operations can just help, everybody scale more efficiently.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. We're that full remote aspect as well. But I think what we try to do to kind of offset that a little bit is get different people in the conversation, so that you're not just talking to that finance person, you're not just talking to the operations person, whatever. So that way you can kind of see those holes, right? Like, where do you hear those stories? Where you're like, let me kind of trigger here that I think we can help you with this. And within a lot of firms, cross selling is so huge. So like, what are the services you provide that you can kind of lean into in situations like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You're asking good questions. So we're owned by Venture HR. It's the largest privately held HR and payroll company. So we can pivot to that. You need payroll and HR and benefits. And we purchased Solvo and 100 some other companies. I think they're up to 120. So we purchased 2 AI companies. So there's AI solutions we can pivot to. Do you need like an HCM platform for your payroll? Are you a big enterprise? So those are like the ones like more internally. But then for me, like having my toolbox filled, like I like to say, is so crucial, because when I'm talking to clients that I've had for a while, I'm not just going to email them, hey, like, how's everything going? Like, no, we're not following up. That's cringy. That's terrible. We're not doing that. I just started doing it third quarter of last year, was providing them resources that I've heard about, no clients are using, or that I've referred and seen success from. And it's basically like, here on a silver platter is things that I think would be relevant for you and that you could utilize. Not sure if this is relevant, but let me know and I can make an introduction. And I kid you not, the amount of people, especially in healthcare, a little bit on the legal side, but more on the healthcare side, they had no idea what fractional was.
Yeah.
They're like, what is that? And so I was like, oh my God, I'm like the hero all over again.
Yes.
And I was like, you need this. Like, you should be using this. And so I mentioned before, swing by your booth, like fractional work is it's incredible. And so many people don't know about it still, which is crazy. Some people don't know where to turn for it. They don't know where to look because they don't know it's a thing. And I don't think it's being talked enough about. And so for me, I'm always talking about it for them, like all the time, because I can only provide a certain scale of people, right? Like you need someone like at a much higher level that has the experience that a fractional does to come in there and really, fix the mess, burn out the fires, or create the processes for then our services to be worthwhile.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we see a lot with people too. When they realize, hey, we're not going to have full time in this role, right? We can't afford it, or for whatever reason. Well, their next step usually is to say, okay, I'm just going to have so and so over here who's already having 14 hats on at another one to their plate, and then that's when they get the burnout and things like that. Where just looking to this type of service, you get that best of both worlds. Where you're not having that full time hire, but you're also getting the full service.
And and the level of like it's a lot less hours because the people that are coming in are that more experienced.
Right. The efficiencies are there.
They've scaled small businesses, they've fixed messes in medium-sized businesses, or they've ran, big operations. Like they've have that experience, that comes with them. And so I think that that's significant. And then like your guys is from having multiple other CFOs. So it's like, now have the minds of how many other people that have done this. And so it's like, you're not just hiring one fractional for 10, 15 hours a week, you're hiring,
you get a whole team.
Yeah, like
you get a whole team. And that's why I tell my clients all the time, like, if you ever ask me a question that I personally don't know the answer to, I have an entire group of
I'll figure it out.
And I will get back to you in an hour.
Yeah, literally. And that's the best.
So valuable.
And that's the best. And I always say resourceful fractionals are some of the best because, resourceful fractionals will come in, whether it's the CFO, CRO side, whatever, and they're in there for that initiative, that project, to fix the mess. And the point is to work themselves out of a job so they can go on to beat the next mess. Like that's what a true fractional is. You'd be surprised at how many try to just stay there forever. Like that's not fractional, but the resourceful ones are like, this is what I'm good at, but I just heard you say this. And like, I know someone that can help you with this, or I see this issue and like, this is what you should be doing, but that's not in my lane. I'm going to, refer you to someone and I can help you lead this. And now you just keep becoming the hero over and over again. And it's like they are paying X for so much value. The resourceful ones are the ones that I love collaborating with just because they actually want to help their clients, not just make, do the transaction and move on and get out. Like they actually care about their clients.
Absolutely. Well, Mikayla, this has been great. If our listeners want to get up with you, what's the best way to do that?
LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Otherwise, via email, Mikayla.Fedler@solvoglobal.com, or my cell, which is 319-470-9497.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Judicial Dollars and Cents, presented by Anders Virtual CFO Services. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. To learn more about how Anders helps law firms strengthen their financial foundations and drive growth, visit anderscpa.com. Until next time, keep making smart decisions that make perfect sense.